Okay, I'm back with another book review, and I've just finished reading it literally in the last 2-3 minutes, and it's this World Wrestling Insanity by James Gutman, produced by ECW Press in 2006. And in fact, it's called World Wrestling Insanity: The Decline and Fall of a Family Empire. As you see on the front, there's Vince McMahon and Stephanie with Triple H over here. And basically, this book is just James Gutman, the writer, who I think World Wrestling Insanity is a wrestling website, and it's basically this guy Gutman going on and on and on about all the mistakes that the WWE make and a lot of the things they've done wrong. But he does end it by saying that, like, oh, don't get me wrong, even though I've bashed WWE throughout this book, I'm a massive fan. They do a lot of good stuff. I'm just pointing out the bad stuff in this book just to add balance, because generally when we read a wrestling book, it's always positive about the industry. This has been like just showing the more negative aspects, and I respect him that he's come out and done this, because he's probably blackballed himself to a lot of the people in the industry. Like, for example, if Vince McMahon does know about this book, he'd hate this guy, and if this guy ever wanted a job within the WWE, he'd have no chance. As soon as one person says he wrote this book just bullshitting about you, then yeah, it's gone. So yeah, he's blacklisted himself in terms of WWE because of writing this book, I'm guessing. But yeah, it's quite good. If I was going to give it a rating out of 10, I would say a 3 out of 10, just because it just doesn't have direction. The content isn't too bad, in all honesty. It's just a random selection of articles, in my opinion. He's just talked about a few different things and tried to link them together, but in all honesty, there's just no direction, there's no purpose to the book. It's just like him thinking, I want to write a book showing the negative aspects of the WWE. He's listed like 10 things and he just wrote about them, and he's not really like strung them together in any certain way. And like the ending of the book was just horrible. It was just ended with, it was just giving the fans a bit more value for the money, I suppose, by putting in a few extra things, like just a couple of articles that had gone online, like a poem that he wrote about WWE around Christmas 2004, and then one if a mock Stephanie and Triple H gone to do a play at a school and all the kind of stuff they do, like burying a kid and whatever, saying he doesn't have talent for the business. So yeah, the ending's bollocks. But yeah, what does it talk about in the book? Some of the topics at hand. Right, we've got, well, to be honest, I can barely remember the first half of the book. So I read the first half so long ago, but the last half I've read it all within the last like month or so. But so I remember the last half like really well. I remember when I just first started reading it, I was like, I'm not going to enjoy this book whatsoever. I did enjoy it quite a lot towards the end, and I did start reading more and more and more as I started to get more through it. The Reality Bites section was my personal favourite. It talked about all the bullshit stuff WWE have done with reality shows, like how Tough Enough started off so well. Not the one that's just been obviously the previous one. It started off so well and then sort of tapered off towards the end. The Diva search that they did, and like how they didn't do any wrestling tasks. They just did stuff like eating pie and stuff like that. Just nothing to do with wrestling. Yeah, I found it really interesting because during that time I wasn't really watching WWE. I was keeping up with sort of what was happening like online and stuff, like from my mates telling me and everything like that. But in the grand scheme of things, I actually wasn't just watching, so I didn't actually see this stuff. So it was quite interesting to read here. It also goes, there's a chapter about, it says the legend of Johnny Laryngitis, who's a Jory. Who the hell is Jory? What is Jory? I don't know where I've got that from. Johnny Laurinaitis, and he's just become massively famous within the last 2 weeks after CM Punk mentioned him in that promo as Johnny Ace and the yes man who surrounds Vince McMahon. So I found it very interesting that I'd actually just read this chapter just before that aired, and I was like, that's like connect the dots sort of things. Like, good job I just read all this stuff before, because now it made me appreciate the promo a little bit more. And yeah, it just tells you like stupid stuff that Johnny Ace did when he became vice president of the WWE Talent Relations. Like, for example, bringing in a dress code, which was one of the main reasons that Molly Holly decided to leave, because she said she didn't like being told what to do. And I found that in a different place, not in this book. What else was there? The fact that he wanted to just bring in guys who were like 6'4" and like had the looks and he wasn't too bothered about the wrestling skill, because we can teach him all that afterwards, but he wanted to bring those guys up to the roster. As long as he had a basic knowledge, he was happy with bringing them up, which is bollocks, because, well, as smarks, I suppose, we're labelled as, we want to see more guys who are better in the ring and more entertaining than just guys with no charisma and just have a look and height. What else we got? Perverts, racism and other funny concepts. That basically just goes into detail of how WWE like to poke fun at stuff like hiding Mike raping Michael Cole, which, it's ridiculous. Like, rape's one of the most despicable things on this earth, isn't it? And they just made light of it, sort of, by pretending that Hydra Mike was raping Michael Cole, which is just bollocks. What else we got here? Smart Mark's work, the kayfabe babyface heel heat. That's basically talks about Ric Flair and how Ric Flair hates that us wrestling fans know terms and use terms like heel, babyface, heat, going over, turning and stuff like that. But then it also goes to show the hypocriticalness of Ric Flair, because he's used those types of words on products which have been sold to us fans. So it's just like, if you don't want us to know, don't speak like that on DVDs that are going to be released to us, if you know what I mean. If you don't want us to use those words, then don't let us know what they mean, because we wouldn't know what they mean if it weren't for wrestlers telling us, because we wouldn't have found out any other way, would we? To the Hunter Goes to Spoils, that's one of the early chapters from the first half of the book. I remember reading that, and it's all about Triple H burying guys like Booker T, Randy Orton. See if I can find it in there. What page is it? 35. Oh, I can't even find those heading titles. Oh, Kane, it talks about Kane as well, and how he talks about the Katie Vick angle. And there's a really good article towards the back of this talking about Kane and how WWE should have ended the angle. Even if the way they were going, they should have just explained all the stuff like why he had black face paint on, for example, when he took the mask off, and stuff like that. Yeah, that's about it really. But it's an okay book. The content is okay. If you're going to read it like every now and then, like I read it, perfectly fine. If you're going to read it for the sake of reading a book, then it's just got no narrative. There's no flow to the book. It's just like he just plots a load of things in there, the order that he thought of, and he decided to bang them in there. And yeah, so yeah, 3 out of 10. Not terrible, not great. It costs $19.95. That's dollars, and was released in 2006. It has 235 pages, and yeah, would I pay what, $19.95? So what's that, like, I don't know, 14 quid, something like that? Would I pay 14 quid for this book? Not a chance. A quid, I'd probably pay a quid for this book, so that's like what, $2, something like that. Not even $2, I don't think anymore, like $1.60 or something like that. I would not pay. No offense to the writer, because he does bring up some good points. He's just not. I don't think he's made for writing books. He seems like he could write awesome articles. He's not a good book writer, in my opinion. And maybe it wasn't him. Maybe it was someone who edited the book, did it that way. I don't know. But yeah, personally, I don't think it's worth the money as a book. If this guy was online and I'd read all this stuff online, I'd be telling everyone how awesome he is and people should check out his website. But because it's in a book, it's just a different ball game, isn't it? Yep, so would I recommend it? Yeah, that's who I'd recommend it to. People who are going to read it every now and then, but not your casual reading wrestling fan. Although it does give you a very balanced view of the WWE for like people who are like real marks of the WWE and don't really see past the bullshit that they do. It's good for that, but for more of us smart marks, it's not brilliant. But yeah, with that, I am out. Let me know if you've read the book down below. Like, nothing against the writer, but I've not heard of anyone reading this book before. I only got it because I had money from university to buy books. They give us £200 a year, and I bought this back in my 3rd year when I was finishing up. Yeah, so maybe my 2nd year. I can't remember, but basically, yeah, I bought this through them. Otherwise, I wouldn't have bought it. No offense to the writer or anything. Just yeah, I don't think it's that good. But yeah, like I said, 3 out of 10. Not terrible. Good for if you are going to read it every now and then. with that, I'm out. Thank you very much for watching. Comment down below with your thoughts on the book, thoughts on my review of it, and recommendations for other books that maybe I've not. Maybe you've read a wrestling book and I've not reviewed it yet. If so, let me know down there. Currently, I'm reading the Andre the Giant one and the Piper one. The Andre the Giant one's dragging a little bit. The Piper one's quite good, but it's only an ebook, so I don't really like reading ebooks online. But yeah, anyway, with that, I'm out. Thank you very much for watching.